Great. Welcome, Klaus. Welcome, Leona, and welcome everybody to the session number 7. And this session will address the testing solutions that are available for analyzing micronutrients in fortified foods. We'll get insights from Klaus about different available solutions that cover qualitative, quantitative solutions. Then we will have a short introduction about QuImpact, which is a new nonprofit service provider also addressing the testing solutions, their validation and development. And towards the end of the session, we will have Leona Kovac present to us Bioanalyt and give us short demonstrations about the portable devices iChecks for different micronutrients and vehicles. So thank you for joining us, and I will not take more time and hand over the microphone to Klaus Sondergaard from BASF, who will talk about different available analytical methods for analyzing micronutrients and premix. Klaus?
Yes, I'm trying to share my screen now. Can you see the screen?
Yes, Klaus.
Good.
Yes.
Very good. Well,
if you can start the presentation in the presentation mode.
Let me see if it works.
Perfect. Yes.
That is good. Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much for having me in this forum here. It's really a pleasure to be here, and very interesting selection of presentations so far. Before talking about the analyticals or some basic analytics, I think it's very important you know what BASF is about, because BASF is not an analytical company. We are actually something totally different. Just a few words about BASF. We have the main factory in Germany with more than 30,000 people employed there, and the factory itself is 10 square kilometers. There are many other details here. I'll not use too much, but there are more than 125 production facilities with around 200 production plants. So BASF is not producing only vitamins, but we are producing many other products. But vitamins is a very important part. And if I go to the next slide, we see we have the main production in Ludwigshafen in Germany. We have the powder production of vitamins in Denmark. We have manufacturing sites in US, and we also have vitamin B2 production in South Korea. So this is we have been active in food fortification for more than 20 years, experiencing more than 40 countries. So she spread out in projects all over the globe, where fortification is necessary, mandatory, voluntary. I'll just go quick to this. So our approach to food fortification is products, it's application support, it's analysis also, and besides that, it's about partnerships and sustainability also. I think it's important we just mention this because so we don't take out of something out of a context and say that BASF is only an analytical company, which is not the case, as you see. Okay, starting with vitamin A. This is, let's say, a quick overview about how to analyze or how vitamin A is analyzed. We start from the bottom. With the high precision, the golden standard is HPLC, and we talk about a cost of machinery of minimum $100,000. You don't get much for that nowadays. It's perfect for external quality control and lab control. Also, cost per analysis is in the ballpark of $50 to $100 for one analysis. And it also requires highly trained staff, and also it requires that the equipment is running all the time for giving reliable results. So for few analysis, HPLC may not be the solution. It could be samples are sent abroad or either to Europe or US or any other lab. We also know that this shipping time of samples and results back can take very long time, and it happens that in some cases the product is already consumed when the results are there. So therefore we have a need for other test methods. We go to the upper picture. The upper line is the BASF test kit. It's a colorimetric assay. It's a semi-quantitative test kit. It's perfect for internal quality assurance or quality check. It gives you an idea where you are. It doesn't give you the exact result. Cost for the analysis is, we talk dollar cents here. As it is a test kit ready to use, and little skills are required. Only some training around can be arranged. We also have instruction videos on our homepage how to use it. So this is, and in between we will hear more about details, because we have the iCheck Chroma 3 and Fluo from BioAnalyt. We'll hear more about that, and I'll leave the details to BioAnalyt. I know we will hear about this later. But in comparison, or put it into this context here, it's both for internal, external control, super for screening with a high precision. Cost for analysis, I have to be careful what I say, but it depends on many things. But again, BioAnalyt are better to answer exactly. And also, it's a quick, speedy analysis. It also has options for saving results, which is very good. That was something about vitamin A. If you look at iodine, if you look at salt, it's actually a titration method, a redox titration with thiosulfate. Also UV-Vis and ICP and others can be used. For lab control, we also talk external analysis. The cost is around $50 or something in this area for one analysis, and also you need technical trained staff. And I think also for those of you who have tried to make titration, at least titration, it gives you a good results, reliable result. But again, you need to be trained, you need to have everything there, and documentation, again, rely on the person at the end of the day. There are some multiple kits around. Spot testing kits give the same. It gives you an idea about, is there any iodine added, or is there about, it gives you an idea about, let's say, the magnitude, but not an exact result. Ready to use, little skills is required, and testing is closer to the end consumer at the end of the day. We also here talk a few dollars per analysis for this type. The minerals, the golden standard today is atomic absorption or inductively coupled plasma mass spectrometry. This equipment is highly efficient, but also very, very expensive, and also require really highly trained staff to run it. Perfect for external control and internal control if you have it. Let's say if you have a need that is big enough. Atomic absorption, we talk around $50 per element, and for ICP, it's approximately 150 USD, and they can get up to 4 elements in one analysis. there are different of these colorimetric assessments available around. Again, it's like a spot test to see is there anything in, and you can have an idea about the level, but not an exact value. And also here in between, we have the eye check iron that I think we will hear more about that. So I'll leave that to the experts. And I think that is, let's say, more or less available, or this is valid for all kind of analysis. You need high precision. You need, it's very expensive, and you also need to run it daily. You need highly trained staff is required for it. So I think if I more or less end here, some pictures for training sessions with our test kit from various labs and various occasions where we have been training the use of BASF test kit. So this is what we can do. And if you are now fast with your camera, there's some options for having a business card here. So much from my side.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you, Klaus.
Quick and dirty in one way, but it
quick and precise.
Yeah.
I think this is very good, and I think everybody also appreciates that we are concise, as this is towards the ending of the second day, and I am sure it's quite a challenge to pay attention to everything. So thank you very much, Klaus, for the great presentation into what BASF does, your production capacities, and also the insights into what are the available micronutrient testing options we have, from qualitative to rapid, quantitative, and golden standards from the lab.
Yeah.
Since we have quite a bit of, we have an extra 10 minutes, perhaps there are some questions from the attendees. I will wait for a couple of minutes to see whether anybody writes down a question. And if not, then we will proceed. Please also note that if you do have questions and you want to answer them after the session, note down, please, the emails of the panelists. Here you see the Klaus Sondergaard email, or scan it and add it to your contact list.
Yeah. That will leave more time for, let's say, some good information coming up.
Okay, excellent. Thank you, Klaus.
Yeah. You're welcome.
So we will proceed now, and I will take over now the microphone to introduce to you QuImpact. So perhaps you have come across the logo and the booth on this virtual fair that says QuImpact. And as this is quite a new name to everybody, I'd like to introduce what is it, who is QuImpact. So now I will share my screen.
Anna, Marco here. There's a question in the chat.
Yes. Let me chat. Avez-vous un outil qui peut faire analyse des 3 micronutriments? Thank you, Coffee, for this question. Actually, this is going to be addressed a little bit later during this panel session by Leona Kovac, who will introduce to you in the new iCheck that is coming up that can analyze multiple micronutrients. And thank you, Marco. Okay. So can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Excellent. So who are we? Who is QuImpact? QuImpact is a Germany-based nonprofit organization that is advancing the quality and effectiveness of public health and nutrition programs worldwide. We specialize in bridging the gap between research and implementation by supporting governments, development agencies, and industry partners with technical training, knowledge transfer, and fit-for-purpose tools. Our mission is to empower stakeholders to deliver measurable impact in health and nutrition. We do this by providing tailored technical expertise, innovative solutions, and hands-on support. We draw on extensive experience of bioanalyst that you will hear a bit later, and a broad international network in academia, in industry, and public institutions. And we serve as a trusted technical partner in quality assurance, monitoring, and innovation, with a strong focus on nutrition improvement and food fortification programs. So what is it specifically that we do? Our services span technical training, studies and assessments, feasibility testing, new method development, digitalization and innovation, as well as advisory and consulting. With focus on micronutrient testing, quality control, quality assurance practices, assessment in terms of what are the lab capacities, proficiency testings of labs. Also supporting the assessment of the market level or household level studies on the levels of the micronutrients in fortified foods. We also provide a further support with evaluating the practicality of new analytical methods for new micronutrients or new food vehicles. We also do new method development for new applications, support innovation in terms of digitalization of data and supporting decision-making, and of course, again, advisory and consulting, expert guidance on quality assurance and nutrition-related topics. So here's some examples. What exactly is it that we do? So we're quite young. We're only about 2 years old, but we already have quite a strong portfolio of finished and ongoing projects. Together with Catholic Relief Services, we have been working with them to build the capacity in West Africa, where we trained together over 250 professionals across Burkina Faso, Ghana, Ivory Coast, Senegal, and Togo, covering food fortification monitoring, quality assurance, quality control, and details on analytical methods. We also worked with Nutrition International on assessing analytical methods and lab capacity in Indonesia, Kenya, and India, covering qualitative and quantitative work. Together with Gates Foundation, we're supporting the development of the next generation of devices, where you will hear more details in the upcoming presentation. We also work with GAIN on the Digital Fortification Quality Traceability Plus, the DFQT Plus platform, which is a cloud-based platform to enhance compliance, accountability, and real-time monitoring across the food fortification value chain. And furthermore, we work on the AUSC certification of the new methods to support the implementation by the governments and industry of reliable methods. So the call for action here is, if you're interested in training or in developing new solutions and learning more, get in touch with us and we'll see how we can support your programs. Thank you. So this was a short presentation on the QuImpact. If you have any questions, please ask them now, or use this contact email. You can also just go directly to the website and send a request from the website if you have any more questions about how we can support you.
And I think there are questions in the chat area. 2 questions for you.
Oh, great. So, I'm not getting the notifications that I have the questions. So let's see. So this was, avez-vous developing a paper measuring le contenu? de cantine scolaire. So there is a question whether there are devices to directly measure in the finished products correctly, from Elizabeth Udragu. For the school canteens. That's, yes?
Yes, ready to eat food, sorry.
Yeah, ready to eat food. So to answer this question, we would need to know more specifically what exactly the type of food and what exactly the type of micronutrients it is. So it's always, the answer is always specific to what exactly you want to measure and in exactly what type of food. However, typically you can also do it not just in staple foods like the raw ingredients, flour, oil, but also in the finished products. However, again, for each type of product, you'd have to check in on the details. So, Ms. Elizabeth, if you have more specifics, please share with them, and then we can respond directly to you more accurately. Faites-vous des recherches aussi sur le liquide biologique? We also do research on the biological samples, or let's say human blood samples. There are also projects in development on this. You can find, again, more information if you go directly to the, in this case, Bioanalyt website, and you will see it under the innovations. However, if you have some specific projects that you have in mind where you would like to collaborate with QuImpact on development, please drop us an email or fill out the contact form on the website. I think that Yuring Song is Saliva. So what Bioanalyt is working with blood. However, urine and saliva, those are also possible biological samples. And I'll repeat myself this time again. If you have a specific project in mind, please reach out to QuImpact on this subject. But just to notice that at the moment, there are no commercial ready-to-use products or test kits, rapid test kits for this. But they are in development. Okay. Again, if you do have questions, please contact us also outside of the chat, and we are quite good in time. And you can also keep adding your questions to the chat. We'll be addressing them. As now we are finished with the QuImpact, and we have quite a bit of time for my colleague Dr. Leona Kovac, who will introduce briefly Bioanalyt, and as well she will give us insights into how the different iChecks work for food vehicles such as fortified rice, flour, oil, sugar, and bouillon cubes. So Leona, I hand over the microphone to you.
Thank you, Anna. I will share my screen. Do you see my screen in the full window?
Yes, perfect, looks good.
Perfect. Then I will get straight into it. So at Bioanalyt, we develop and market mobile devices to measure micronutrients for fast and evidence-based decision-making. We call these devices iChecks. And all of our devices or all of our solutions are all-inclusive, meaning that iCheck devices come in a case with all the necessary accessories. These will include rechargeable batteries along with a charger, a measurement standard, as well as a scale if it is needed in sample preparation. And they also have a 2-year warranty. Additionally, we also provide ready-to-use reagent vials that come in a test kit box that contains consumables for 100 analyses, and these have a 12-month shelf life at room temperature. We also provide you with syringes and needles needed for your tests. The measurement process is very simple. It requires no to very minimal sample preparation, at which point you just have to take up your sample and inject it in your reagent vial, shake it briefly to extract the vitamin or whatever nutrient you're testing, and simply insert it into the iCheck device to measure. Currently, we offer solutions for measurement of vitamin A in oil, iron in foods, iodine in salt, vitamin A in foods and biological fluids, carotenoids in foods and biological fluids, as well as vitamin E in biological fluids. As you have already heard in this session, iCheck devices are rapid, and they allow you to obtain your results within minutes, between 1 and 60 minutes, depending on the nutrient that you are testing. This enables you to access your quality data on the spot. They're also easy to use, with non-expert personnel being able to use the device after a single day of training. They're also portable and hence scalable, with no setup calibration required. They're also accurate, with their accuracy being comparable to those of laboratory-based standard methods. They're also affordable, as you have already heard from Klaus. They're only about 10% of the cost of the conventional methods. We work and are trusted globally by our industry customers, such as BASF and DSM, development NGO partners, such as TechnoServe, CRS, and GAIN, governments, academia, and animal health. And our devices have reached over 90 countries globally. Our work is evidence-based. There are over 100 peer-reviewed publications available. Furthermore, we also perform method validations internally and externally, and compare our devices to reference solutions. Of course, last but not least, none of these things would be possible without our growing team. So because our devices are portable, accurate, and rapid, they have a standout feature, which is that they can be used at every single point in the food value chain. Starting from raw materials, where iChecks can be used to aid in selective breeding of biofortified crops, measurement of precision supplements and animal nutrition support, and and the assessment of fortification premix quality. They can also be used in food processing, distribution, import, and storage, for quality control during production, quality screening at import sites, ensuring stability during distribution and storage, as well as regulatory monitoring by government authorities. Furthermore, they can be used in the markets and in the households for conducting nutrition program coverage surveys at market and household levels, supporting behavior change through visible nutrition information. And finally, they can also be used in population for precision nutrition for humans and nutritional status studies. So here, a little bit of an example what that means practically is specifically here for food producers. So for food producers, out-of-spec results for a finished product can mean discarding an entire batch and significant costs. Therefore, controlling vitamin and mineral levels during production greatly reduces this risk. iCheck devices can aid food producers to answer questions such as, is their vitamin premix of the right quality? Does the doser add too much or too little of the vitamin premix to their product? Are any vitamins lost in the distribution chain? And also, does their final product comply with regulations? Similarly, food control authorities save cost and time on screening products for compliance to fortification standards and can perform checks at border crossing points for more timely decisions. So they can check whether the vitamin premix complies with the national standard. They can check whether food producers comply with the national standard and whether the imported fortified products comply with the national standard. And finally, do the products that are already available on the market meet the nutritional specifications? Of course, we are always innovating in order to best accommodate our customers' needs. And right now, we are preparing for a launch of our new product, which is iCheck Modular. This is the next generation of iCheck devices that will enable testing of multiple parameters for nutrition and quality in one device. It will enable remote maintenance, data management and sharing, remote method updates, increased precision and reliability, and all of that with the use of low hazard chemicals. As I have already said, this device is built to grow. So the nutrition parameters that we will be able to measure with iCheck Modular include vitamin A, keratin, iron, and iodine, which are planned to be launched by the end of this year, folic acid and zinc, which are in the pipeline for 2026 to 2027, and vitamin B12 and vitamin D, which are in planning. Additionally, to nutrition parameters, we are also introducing food safety parameters, such as peroxides in edible oil, which will also be launched by the end of this year, free fatty acids, iodine value in edible oil, which is in pipeline for 2026 to 2027, and drug residues, aflatoxins, and heavy metals, and these are in planning. The iCheck Modular device also comes with a companion mobile and desktop app called iCheck Connect for data transfer and data management easily directly from your device. So in summary, we provide iChecks, which are rapid portable devices for measurement of micronutrients. We work globally with governments, industry, and civil society. And finally, we provide onboarding and continuing technical support to our customers. With that, I'm at the end of this part of my presentation, but I would like to say that we are more than happy to hear from you. You can reach out to me personally. You can also visit our website where you can find our WhatsApp number. You can text us on WhatsApp. You can send us an email to our contact email address. You can also find us in our booth at the fair. Our team also speaks French, so do not hesitate to reach out to us in whatever way is most comfortable for you. So I will now finish my presentation and stop sharing my screen because you will have to see me for the rest of this. I don't know if there may be any questions to the presentation before we move on.
Thank you, Leona. There was a question from Kofi Dandonugbo. The question was around what exactly do we measure in premixes? Is it only the micronutrient content or other parameters, quality parameters that we test in the premix?
Yes, so in the premix, we measure the micronutrient, the specific micronutrient that our device is meant for. So that could mean vitamin A, iron, vitamin A and iron. That is it, what we can measure in premixes. Yes, so far.
Kofi, if you could perhaps specify which other parameters do you have in mind in the premix in the chat, that would help us perhaps give some more details to this answer. And there's a Q&A open. We have Parik Sulama. For salt fortified with folic acid and iodine, as currently being tested in Ethiopia by Nutrition International, is that iodine test kit appropriate for measuring the iodine content?
So the only problem that could occur if the salt is already colored because of another additive, which should not be a problem, so you should still be able to measure iodine in salt. Yes.
And I think that's it for the time being. I believe those are all the questions. So then,
Okay. Oh,
oops, one more. Les coffee has responded les paramètres qualitatifs de l'huile, par exemple l'acidité, le teneur en indice de peroxyde l'iode.
sorry, I did not really hear you, so what maybe I can.
So coffee has specified that the parameters, quality parameters he's referring to are actually in the oil. So the acidity, water content, peroxide, iodine value. And
so
that would refer to the iCheck modular.
yeah, that would, so we will be able to measure so in the pipeline, we have to measure the peroxide values, which would be a quality measurement. Iodine will also be available with iCheck modular. However, the acidity we are not currently are not developing, but in the future, maybe.
I believe acidity in the French is the free fatty acids, which is also in the pipeline.
Sorry. Oh, really?
So
okay.
peroxide,
So free
iodine.
fatty acids. Okay, sorry. Then yes, the free fatty acids are also in the pipeline, but a little bit later than the peroxide values. So the peroxide values should come by the end of this year, and then the following year, the next free fatty acids also.
We have a follow-up question from Mavuli Sabla, which says, what processes are required to request bilateral technical support by industries or regulatory institutions? I believe this question is towards both, perhaps QuImpact and BioAnalyt. The process is just getting in touch. I think the first is open conversation. What is the support needed? And then we take it from there. What type of collaboration needs to be? Is it a research project? Is it a training? Is it a study that we will be supporting? Either QuImpact as a service, or if you directly require a product, such as a test kit iCheck. Okay.
Okay, then I will continue to the fun part. I'm sure questions will come. I will just tilt the camera a little bit so you can see my desk better. And then remove my mouse. For the demo, great, I can see what you see. Perfect. So I will do a short demo of 4 of our devices. I will start with iCheck Iodine. iCheck Iodine measures iodine as potassium iodate in table salt. And the sample preparation is very simple. Just take the right sample. So everything that you will need for sample preparation is your salt sample and distilled or bottled water, really. So bottled water works as well. And then you dissolve your salt in this water, mix it well, and your sample is ready to go. Then next, what you will get in your test kit is your reagent vials, as I have already said. And iodine reagent vials actually need to be activated prior to use with an additive that is, of course, also supplied in your test kit. And this additive needs to be added into the vial in order to extend the shelf life of the vials. Because once the additive is mixed into the vial, it is only usable for a brief period of time. So what you're going to do is you're going to take a syringe and a needle and take up the additive into your syringe. And simply inject it into your vial. Invert your vial 3 to 5 times to mix everything, and the vial is now ready to go. And you're ready to inject your sample. So the sample you can take up with a syringe. Clean up the excess. Attach the needle. Make sure that there are no air bubbles in the syringe and adjust the volume to the correct injection volume. And you can inject it into your vial. The reaction is colorimetric, meaning that as you inject your sample, your reagent vial will turn purple-blue, and the intensity of the color will be proportional to the amount of iodine in your sample. So inject it. Invert it 3 to 5 times again. And now your sample is ready for measurement. So the iCheck devices are easy to use. You insert your vial, cover it, and press the measurement button. Once the measurement is done, your result will be displayed in milligrams per liter. I will try to show you the screen, but I think the sun is a little bit too strong here. But in any case, your device will immediately display the value that you can use. What is important to note is that because you diluted your sample in water, you have to multiply your result by your dilution factor. So that is already done with iCheck iodine. As you can see, it is very simple. We will move on now to iCheck iron. And today I will share with you how we measure iron in flour. Iron is added to flour either as iron EDTA, ferrous fumarate, or ferrous sulfate. Iron EDTA is readily soluble in water and can be, for that reason, diluted or suspended in water before measurement. However, ferrous fumarate and ferrous sulfate are not readily soluble in water, and therefore they have to be dissolved in HCl, 0.2 to 0.4 molar HCl, which is a readily available chemical. You mix in the flour with your HCl. So I will focus now on the protocol for ferrous fumarate, because that is the most common iron additive in West Africa. So you just have to make sure that your sample is well mixed and it is ready to go. Again, you get your reagent vial, and here again we have an additive. This time additive comes in a powder form, and you just have to add distilled or bottled water to it and dissolve it. And then, like for iCheck iodine, you take up the additive into your syringe. Inject it in your vial. And vigorously shake to activate your vial. So now we will inject the sample. And again, this is going to be a color reaction. So as you're mixing in your sample, you will see that the vial starts to turn pink. And again, the intensity of the pink color in the vial will be proportional to the iron content in your sample. So I'm cleaning up the syringe, and I'm doing this so that I can easily and cleanly attach the needle. So like this, make sure there are no bubbles. Adjust the volume. I will inject it into the vial. and shake. As I shake, you can see, hopefully, here that the vial is starting to turn pink. Go, so the color keeps developing. Shaking vigorously is important. And now, for a measurement of iron, the vial has to sit for 60 minutes. For 60 minutes, and after the 60 minutes, you should observe a phase separation. Since we don't have 60 minutes right now, I can show you a vial that has been sitting for a longer time, so you can see what the vial looks like after the phase separation. So the upper layer is where all of your iron is. In case you do not see a phase separation, which could happen, it doesn't mean that something is wrong. It can just depend on your sample. We also offer portable hand centrifuges, which are easy to use. And then after the 1 hour, you can briefly centrifuge your sample, and then it is ready for measurement. Once your sample is ready for measurement, again, you will just insert your sample. Let's measure. And again, I will try my luck again so you can just probably see. Maybe not. I hope you saw something. Again, you will get a value that you can readily use. Again, because you are diluting your sample in HCl or in water, you will have to multiply this result by your dilution factor. Okay, so I also wanted to point out that iCheck iron can be used for measurement of iron in fortified rice kernels. And this measurement, in this case, the sample preparation has a couple of more steps. So here I have a bag of fortified rice kernels as we all know them. However, before measurement, they have to be pulverized, so essentially creating flour out of them. And in addition, they have to be incubated with 0.6% sodium hydroxide, which is also a very common chemical that can be easily obtained. And this is because the starch in the fortified rice kernels has to be degraded before the measurement. And then the fortified rice kernels have to be diluted in hydrochloric acid, same as for the flour, because the type of iron most commonly used in fortified rice kernels is ferric pyrophosphate, which is also not readily soluble in water. So that was that. I will now move on to our iCheck Fluoro, which measures vitamin A in food and biological fluids. Today, I prepared a solution of sugar. Again, you just need your sugar sample and bottled water, and just dissolve your sugar in your sample. The form of vitamin A that is most commonly found in fortified sugar is retinol palmitate to ensure its stability. In this case, iCheck Fluoro the reagent vial does not require activation. So you can very easily just use the vial as it comes. This is the first device that I will share with you, or the first method I will share with you that does not have any color. And that is because the method is based on vitamin A autofluorescence. That means that once the ultraviolet light is shined on vitamin A, it glows back, and this glow is something that we can measure to quantify vitamin A. So to proceed with the measurement, you have to just, again, very simply take up your sample, make sure all the bubbles go up, adjust the injection volume, and inject it into your vial. Shake vigorously for approximately 10 seconds. And let the vial stand for 5 minutes. After the 5 minutes, again, we should see a phase separation. This might be a little bit harder to see on camera. I would say impossible, due to the fact that there is no color reaction. But maybe this is a good moment for me to tell you that you can also measure vitamin A in bouillon cubes with the same method. You just take your bouillon cubes and you dissolve them in water, bottled water, again, this time heated, just to aid the melting of the cubes. And then if I did the same thing with the bouillon cubes as I did with the sugar, the vial would look like this. And here you can see really nice phase separation. On the bottom, we have the yellow from the bouillon cubes, and on the top is the organic layer that contains your vitamin A to be measured. So once the 5 minutes have elapsed, which have not for me, but let's pretend for the sake of this presentation, you will, again, insert your vial into the iCheck device, press measure, wait for the measurement to be done, and you will then have your result. Again, you will have to multiply your result with your dilution factor. Okay, so that brings us to the last device that I will be sharing with you today, and this is iCheck Chroma 3, which measures vitamin A in oils. And similar to sugar or the foods, the most common form of vitamin A that is added to oil is also retinol palmitate. Here I have fortified oil. As you might have seen in the video that was playing before the session, the iCheck Chroma 3 requires a blank measurement. That means that once you have decided which vial you want to use for your analysis, you have to perform a blank measurement in the device. That is also done very simply. You insert your vial, press measure. The device will know that you have to measure a blank, and it will prompt you to do it. Once you have measured your blank, once you have measured your blank, the device will guide you to prepare for measurement. And that is because this method, or the reaction that this method is based on, is time sensitive. That means that you will have to time the moment when you put your reagent vial into the device. And I will show you why that is. So we're going to take up some oil. Clean your syringe. Attach the needle. And adjust the injection volume. Here it is important to inject the sample slowly, because it should not go into the reaction solution. It should stay on top until you want the reaction to start. So I have to hold it on the table to do so, but I will show you what happens afterwards. So we slowly inject on top. You should see your layer of oil on top of the liquid in the vial. I will show it like this. And now you will see that once I mix it, a blue color develops. It is blue, and this color, as you can already see, will keep evolving. So it will be getting darker and darker. I actually have a very concentrated sample, so the decline in color is a little bit slower, but I can show you a vial that I've had standing for a little bit longer. And this is what it looks like after some time, which is why it is important to time when you insert your vial. However, the device will guide you through it. So I can show you what it looks like in practice if you actually want to measure. So I will again take up my sample. And inject it into the vial slowly, not to start the reaction. And now I can tell the device that I have prepared for sample measurement. And now the device will count it down for me and say mix. And at 0, I mix it twice and insert it. And the analysis is automatically in process. This is to ensure that the measurement is done at the optimal point. After that, everything is the same with all of the other devices. You will receive a value that you can immediately use. Since there was no sample preparation, there is no need to adjust your result for the dilution factor or anything else. You are ready to go as soon as you see a number. And that brings me to the end of my demonstrations. I would like to quickly summarize BioAnalyt one more time, and that is that we provide rapid portable devices for micronutrient measurements. We work globally with industry, governments, and civil society, and we also provide onboarding and continuing technical support. And again, I want to urge you to reach out to us if you have any questions or you would like any assistance. And yes, I am open to any questions.
Thank you, Leona. Thank you very much for a very engaging demonstration of all the solutions. We have a couple of questions in the chat and in the Q&A. So in the chat, we have Marco Stetz is asking, does it also work for carbonyl iron or other forms of metallic irons?
I want to say not, but I have not actually yet encountered it. So maybe Anna, you have more information on this?
So I believe carbonyl iron refers to what we also call metallic or elemental iron.
Then no.
So in this case.
No, unfortunately not.
And then what other forms of or other forms of metallic iron? So metallic iron would be a no.
No.
Oh, and then we have a question in Q&A. So we have, what's the measurement accuracy level of the eye checks?
So we assess the accuracy of our devices internally, and you can see, you can access all of these documents on our website. But in general, the coefficient of variation is up to 30% in the worst case, which is also comparable to the reference methods.
And we have, is the environment dark without any light?
So for vitamin A measurements, we do suggest that the measurements are not done in direct sunlight. You do not have to be in complete dark.
Okay, and I have Marco Sturz has a raised hand. Marco?
Yes, hi, sorry. Just maybe to clarify this carbonyl iron, which is a very pure iron type. The reason why it's not working is that because it's not calibrated now, because we're trying to push that as a very high quality iron with very high efficacy as well as bioavailability. So it might pop up in the one or the other application in powders, which is flour in this case. Does it mean that the equipment is not calibrated for that, or is there any other reason why it's technically not working?
So I can take this. Thank you, Marco. I must say that I don't believe we actually have worked directly with carbonyl iron. If it does behave similar to elemental iron, the challenge is to solubilize it. That for elemental or electrolytic iron, usually you need to use quite a strong acid, so something stronger than HCl, to completely solubilize it. So that would be the only challenge. In terms of calibration, the device is calibrated for iron. So if this iron is fully solubilized into a solution, then you can also analyze it. It's actually a very interesting point, and it's we could maybe look actually into it, run a short in-house study, if we can get some samples of this
Sure.
pure new
no
iron.
problem, no problem. So should I contact Leo now for the sample, or?
Yes.
You can,
Okay,
yes.
good.
Thank you,
Perfect,
Marco.
thank you.
Thank you.
And perhaps I can add up a little bit towards the measurement accuracy. So one has always to consider that it's going to be specific for the type of food and the type of micronutrient that you have. So it will be different for some elements. It's going to be CV can be as low as 3. For other ones, it can be 15. Also, recovery can range some 90%, some 100. So it's always specific for what you want to measure. And let's see if we have any other questions. I think for the moment, we don't have any questions, but again, as Leona also mentioned, you're welcome to leave your questions either at the booth, in the chat, email, visit the websites. And again, a quick sum up. Thank you very much for our panelists. We started with Klaus Sundergaard from BASF, who gave us an overview about the capacities of BASF and their factories across the world in Germany, Denmark, China, and United States, producing high quality fat soluble vitamins, as well as B vitamins, and of course, other products. And thank you, Klaus, for giving us insights into available qualitative, rapid, and laboratory solutions. Then we had a quick overview about QuImpact and the services QuImpact provides, and Leona gave us a very nice presentation to Bioanalyt and demonstrated the different iChecks and their solutions for the key fortified staples and micronutrients.